Hello, it's Alex, the Bookubus. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a book haul. It's been a couple of months since my last book haul and I have accumulated quite a number of books since then. A lot of these I received as gifts and some of these I found at thrift stores and a few of them were sent to me for review. So I have a good mixture of stuff here. Of course, it's mostly horror. Some of them I've already read even, and yeah, I kind of had a quick glance and there's about 50-ish books, so I will try not to spend too much time on each one so the video won't be an insane length. Anyway, I will start off with a few books that my wonderful husband got me for Christmas. So he got me the Blood on Satan's Claw book. It's a novelisation of the film from the 70s, one of my favourite folk horror films, and this is written by Robert Wynne Simmons, who also wrote the screenplay for the film. But yeah, this book only just recently came out, and yeah, it's a really lovely hardback edition. It's got a ribbon and it's got, yeah, lovely end papers and illustrations and stuff. So yeah, if you're a fan of the film, I highly recommend the book. I've already read it. I think I talked about it in my January reading wrap up. So yeah, this was fantastic. He also got me House of Psychotic Women by Keela Janice. This is a non-fiction book about horror film and one that I've been wanting to read for some years. So I'm really happy to finally have my own copy. I have not dived into this one yet, but yeah, it's full of awesome stuff. And I very much look forward to, sorry, I got my hair all over my face there. I very much look forward to checking this one out. The blurb on this is an autobiographical topography of female neurosis in horror and exploitation films. And he also got me Ghosts, which is an Usborne children's book that originally came out, I think, in the late 70s. And yeah, scarred a generation of children, including myself. I never actually had my own copy of this, but I remember looking at it in the school library when I was a kid, and yeah, it terrified me and I loved it. And I did recently borrow a copy of this, I think it was last year, the year before, from my library here, and it was such a trip down memory lane. And yeah, I really wanted to have my own copy. And yeah, he got me one, and they actually did reissue it a few years ago, which has a foreword by Reese Shearsmith, who is awesome. So yeah, this is really awesome and full of creepy, spooky, ghostly goodness. Highly recommend it. I also took part in a Secret Santa that Regina at Regina's Haunted Library held between a few booktubers. And my Secret Santa ended up being John over at Books of Blood. I think he has stopped making videos, but I will leave a link to his channel anyway, if you want to go take a look at his older videos. But yeah, he sent me a Barnes & Noble gift card, which was really generous of him. So thank you so much, John. And yeah, I put it towards a couple of books that I have been really wanting. So one of them is The Safety of Unknown Cities by Lucy Taylor. I think this originally came out in the late 90s, and you know I love me some 90s horror. And I think I had found this book through Charlie Jacob, who you know I love, and I think there was an interview I had read with her where she mentioned Lucy Taylor, and so I was like, well, if Charlie Jacob recommends it, then I need to track it down. I don't know too much about this one, but it was, yeah, I was intrigued enough that I really wanted to track it down, and I hope to get to this one before too long. And I also got To Offer Her Pleasure by Ali C. This is one that was published by Weird Punk Books, who I love, and this is one of theirs that I've been meaning to read for a while, so I'm really happy to finally have a copy. And I believe this one is about a boy who, I think a parent dies and he is just, yeah, feeling very alone in the world. And I think he meets some, yeah, mysterious entity that, you know, offers him what he wants, but obviously asks for something in return. So yeah, I've heard really great things about this one, so very excited to read it. And while I was doing my Barnes & Noble purchase, I had added, those books to the cart, and it was like, if you spend X amount extra, you'll get free shipping. And of course it made sense to put that money towards another book rather than it just going towards shipping. So I ended up adding on A History of Touch by Erin Emily Ann Vance. And this is just quite a short book. I believe it is poetry, and I first heard about this through a little while ago. Juan at Plagued by Visions had hosted a Q&A chat between the author and another author, Mike Thorne. And yeah, I love Mike Thorne's work, and this one just sounded super interesting and she seemed super cool. So I really wanted to get it at some point, and yeah, this just seemed like a great opportunity to nab a copy. So yeah, poetry isn't really my thing. Like, I've not really read much of it, I'll be honest, but I always just kind of seem to shy away from it. But I look forward to checking this one out. And a couple of more gifts. I know, I'm very spoiled. These were from my friend Jason, so thank you ever so much, Jason, really kind of you. He got me these two books off my Amazon wishlist. So we have Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Bazterrica. This, I know, is a pretty well-known one over, you know, the past year or so. It is about a future where animal meat is no longer able to be consumed, and so instead humans are bred as meat. Yeah, it's supposed to be very dark and disturbing, so yeah, really looking forward to that one. And he also got me Kin by Keelan Patrick Burke. He's an author that I always hear good things about, and I've been meaning to pick up his stuff for years and I haven't. So yeah, this is one of his that I have heard wonderful things about. It's actually another cannibal one. I think this one is more in the vein of Texas Chainsaw Massacre type cannibals rather than, like, you know, mass-produced human meat. But yeah, this one's supposed to be gnarly. So I'm really happy to finally have a copy of this and actually read some of this author's work. Next up is a stack of books, and when I say stack, I mean, yeah, pretty giant stack of books that my lovely friend Aaron sent to me. Thank you so much, Aaron. Super kind and generous of you. He sent me this amazing goodie box. Yeah, mostly filled with books, but some really cool other things as well. It just super made my day. And it also included the giant rubber spider that I added to my background recently. So yeah, he's lurking in the darkness back there. So we've got some Fear Street books. This one is Double Date. And then a couple of other R.L. Steins. We've got The Hitchhiker. Love that cover. The colours are just amazing. And I Saw You That Night with this amazing skeleton. You really can't go wrong with a skeleton on the cover. And yeah, this one came out in the UK as The Witness. So yeah, this is one that I still need to read or / reread. So looking forward to that. Some more Fear Street. We have got Ski Weekend. It Was a Perfect Setting for Murder. We have Truth or Dare, another ski related one. It started as a game and ended in death. And then we've got a bit of H.P. Lovecraft. This is The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadaf. I may be pronouncing that wrong. This is a short story collection, and yeah, it has an absolutely amazing cover, which is genuinely quite terrifying. Then we've got some V.C. Andrews, which I'm really excited about because I just recently read Flowers in the Attic for the first time last year and loved it. And yeah, so I've got The Seeds of Yesterday with this lovely metallic cover, and glare, the step back art. And this is one of the books in the Dollenganga series, so happy to have that. And then a few others from different series. We've got Melody and some lovely step back art there. We've got Music in the Night with some more lovely artwork there. And also April Shadows. So yeah, they all look awesome. And next up is some middle grade. So we've got an R.L. Stein's Ghosts of Fear Street. So this was like a middle grade kind of spin-off of Fear Street. This one is Revenge of the Shadow People, and that cover is actually quite scary. So that one looks really fun. Love the colours on that one. And then we've got a few of the Shivers books by M.D. Spencer. And I've never read any of this series before, so I'm really looking forward to checking them out. And yeah, this was like a Goosebumps type of middle grade series. So we've got book 15, Pool Ghoul, and number 16, The Beast Beneath the Boardwalk, and number 17, Ghosts of Camp Massacre. My god, that's like, just sounds super gnarly for a kid's book. And also 18, Your Mama's a Werewolf, with this brilliant cover. So yeah, they all look super fun. And then one more middle grade is a Betty Wren Wright book, and this one is A Ghost in the House. So yeah, seems to be a supernatural story, and I read one of her books last year, The Ghost of Ernie P, and I really enjoyed it, so I'm really happy to have another of her books, and I look forward to reading this one. And last but not least, he also sent me this Laird Barron book, Occultation and Other Stories. This is another author that I hear great things about, but I have not yet read any of his work, so I'm very happy to have this and very much looking forward to reading it. So thank you again, Erin, thank you ever so much. Okay, next up are a couple of books that my wonderful friend Sandy sent me. Thank you so much. And yeah, she actually sent me another Shivers book, so now I have quite the collection. This one is number 10, The Curse of the New Kid, which looks awesome. And also, I had read The Seventh Mansion by Maurice Meyer last year and really loved it. And so she sent me her other novel, Northwood, which looks really interesting because it's all on black paper with white text, and yeah, just is a lovely hardback. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Thank you, Sandy. And okay, next up are a few books that were sent to me for review. Look at me. I previously, just a bit ago, mentioned Weird Punk Books. They're one of my favourite indie publishers, and they sent me their books that were published last year in exchange for review. I've read a handful of their previous books, that I've bought myself or received as gifts, and loved them. I really love the work that they put out. And so I saw Sam, the owner, had put something up on Twitter a little while ago looking for reviewers, and I was like, well, I definitely want to read more of their stuff, so it seemed like the perfect opportunity. And yeah, he was very kind enough to send me physical copies, which I'm really grateful for, because I know there are only so many free copies you can give out to people. So I think there are 4 short story collections, like single author, and then one is an anthology, and a couple of these I've already read since receiving them. And yeah, so we have Sam Richards' To Wallow in Ash and Other Sorrows. I talked about this in my January wrap-up. Yeah, a really excellent collection all about grief horror. And also his other collection, Grief Rituals, which I have not yet read, but look forward to doing so. And then we've got Pornography for the End of the World by Brendan Vedito. I literally just finished this a couple of days ago and really loved it. Yeah, dark and disturbing stuff. Definitely my cup of tea. And yeah, amazing cover. And then we have the anthology, Stories of the Eye, another great cover, and looking forward to diving into that one. And then also A Small Light and Other Stories by Sarah Century. So yeah, another single author collection that I'm looking forward to reading. So yeah, thank you so much, Sam, for sending those my way. And then another book that I got recently, this was in a Creepy Crate subscription, so you can always check out my unboxing video if you're interested. This is The Red Widow by Sarah Horowitz. This is a non-fiction book about a real life femme fatale in, let's see, when was this happening? Paris, 1890. So yeah, that sounds really interesting. And then last up for this little section before we get into some secondhand paperbacks that I found out in the wild is Midnight Companions by Luke Flaherty. So this is a horror fiction zine, and this is issue 1 that just came out, I think, towards the end of last year. It's just such a lovely publication. Like, they've done an amazing job on the design, and yeah, it's like a mass market paperback size, so it's just fits so nicely in the hand. And yeah, I don't want to give you many spoilers, but just to give you an idea, like, this is how one of the stories starts off, and then we also have like other illustrations throughout. So this is someone that I found through Instagram, and I saw Midnight Companions and was like, I definitely need that in my life. So I decided to treat myself to a copy, and I read it, just the other day and really enjoyed it. So this is basically 2 short stories in here. So yeah, as you can tell, this definitely has those vintage horror vibes, and I just really wanted to shout it out. If it seems interesting to you, then I highly recommend it. I think issue 2 is coming out sometime in the spring, so I am definitely going to be getting myself a copy of that when it comes out. Okay, and this last section is going to be some secondhand books that I picked up from thrift stores and secondhand bookshops. And first up are a couple more V.C. Andrews books. I got these in a thrift store, I think it was a Goodwill. So I already got a copy of Seeds of Yesterday, and they had a couple of the other Dollenganger books. So we've got If There Be Thorns and Petals on the Wind. And yeah, these aren't the editions with the step back art, but they were in really good condition otherwise, so I figured, yeah, they were super cheap, and I figured I would grab them. So I think I did recently get a copy of this one elsewhere for like really, really cheap, but it wasn't in very good shape. So anyway, I've already upgraded that one, I guess. And then in the same place, they also had a copy of Heaven, which I think is the first book in another series. And this one does have the step back art, which is really cool. So yeah, was very happy to find that one. And this one I think was from a Salvation Army thrift store, and it is a little bit worse for wear, but this is The Spell by Ed Kelleher and Harriet Vidal. The tagline says, "The fatal attraction was magic." And yeah, pretty cool cover there. Yeah, no idea what it's about, but obviously I wasn't going to leave it behind. Okay, then the next bunch are from a little trip that my husband and I did for his birthday around kind of end of December, early January. We just went away to like a little Airbnb for a couple of nights, and obviously I hijacked the trip to check out some thrift stores and secondhand bookshops. And from a random thrift store I got this one, The Changeling, with this very metallic cover by Kenneth McKenney. And I think this is a follow-on from The Moonchild, but I don't know. If anyone knows, you'll have to let me know if it's like a direct sequel, if you have to have read the first one, or if it's just like you could pick up with this one. I'm not entirely sure, but it says it's set in the quiet English countryside, and the tagline on the front says, "He has arisen to love again, to laugh again, to tear the flesh from your body." So yeah, live, laugh, love, tear flesh. That's going to be my new motto. But yeah, that one sounds great. And then there was a secondhand bookshop that we went into that I meant to grab the card for before filming this video, and I totally forgot. So I will try and put the info up here. If you're ever in the area, I definitely recommend popping in. It's deceptively large. It looks like it's just a tiny little place, but it actually goes like, there's a whole underground layer to the place, and there's a lot in there. They've crammed as many books as possible in there. The only problem with it was that they had their fiction genres, like a couple of genres were separated, but the rest of it was just all in the same thing, but mostly like alphabetized, you know, by author initial at least. But, you know, it did make browsing a bit difficult, especially when, you know, we didn't have a ton of time to spend. But I was still really happy to actually find a good handful of good ones in there, so it was well worth it. And yeah, let's see, we've got The House by Bentley Little, I've only read one of his books, The Mailman, but I really enjoyed it. And yeah, this one has a wonderful cover. And it also sounds really good. It says 5 strangers are about to discover that they share a dark bond, a haunted childhood, a shocking secret. So yeah, that just seems like a ton of fun. And then I also found Jake's Wake by John Skipp and Cody Goodfellow. I've read one John Skipp with Craig Spector book, The Light at the End, and really enjoyed it. But yeah, I figured I would snap this one up. And then I also found a copy of The Resurrectionist by Rath James White, which I have read, and I did read the like updated version, which has an epilogue that I don't think this edition does, but I couldn't resist grabbing this copy for my shelf anyway. It's a great cover, and I don't actually own a physical copy of it, but now I do. And also, you know, it felt nice to support a small independent bookstore, you know, by buying a few books off their shelves. So totally good reasons to justify buying it. I also found a Robert R. McCammon book. This is Baal. So yeah, love the artwork of these editions of his books. So had to snap this one up. And then I also got a John Saul book because I've read one of his now, which now justifies me to buy all of his. This one is The Unwanted. And yeah, I have no idea what it's about, but I wanted to grab it anyway. And then last up from that little section is a true crime book. This one is Cauldron of Blood, The Matamoros Cult Killings by Jim Schutz. And this says, death, drugs and the occult meet in grisly inquiry at the Mexican border. So this is a case that I've heard of, but I'm not super familiar with the details, but it sounded really interesting, and yeah, pretty gnarly. So figured I would, yeah, snap this one up and give it a read sometime. Oh, and then I also did get 2 Goosebumps books from the same place. I got The Haunted Mask and The Haunted Mask 2. So yeah, The Haunted Mask, which I know is like one of his most famous and most popular ones, but I haven't read it and I didn't already have a copy, so I'm very happy to have this. And it does still have the free mask inside, so that's really cool. And then The Haunted Mask 2, I figured, yeah, they were both there, so why not grab them both? And then I did also pop into, there was another secondhand bookshop that we went into, and it wasn't as big, and I only got a couple of things there, but I'm pretty happy with my finds, especially this one. And I found this one when I'd pretty much given up browsing, but then like at the bottom shelf I spotted this, and it was a Ruby Jane Jensen book, so I was very excited. This one is The Reckoning, so this is one of hers that I don't already own, so I was super psyched to find this, and it's in not bad shape at all. So yeah, this was a great find. I'm really happy to add this one to my collection. I've enjoyed everything I've read by her so far. And then also from the same place, I got a couple of novelizations. We got The Crow, City of Angels by Chet Williamson, a horror author. And I've never actually seen any of the Crow sequels. Like, I loved the original Crow, but yeah, never saw any of the sequels. But this one sounded interesting, and I figured, you know, it was probably better than the film. So I'll give that one a go sometime. And then also Existenz by David Cronenberg. As you know, I love Cronenberg and I'm a big fan of Existenz. I think, yeah, it's not one of his like fan favourites, I guess, but I really love it, and I figured it would be fun to read the novelisation. This is by Christopher Priest, so yeah, I was really happy to find those. And then last up was one more book that I found at another thrift store while we were on that trip, and it is a book that I've never heard of before, but this is Twitchers. It's basically, yeah, twins, witches, exactly, by H.B. Gilmore and Randy Reisfeld. And this is the first book in a series. It's called The Power of Two. And yeah, the back just sounds absolutely wonderful. It says, identical twins separated at birth for one very good reason. If they ever met, they could combine their powerful gifts and help people, maybe even save a life. They could figure out who they really are, who their parents really are or were. They could fall into very evil hands. Guess what? They're about to meet. So this came out in the early 2000s. It's a series I'd never heard of before, but I saw the title and just knew I needed it in my life. So I'm hoping to read this one before too long because it looks like a ton of fun. And of course, you know, it seems like the two sisters are very different. So we've got Cameron, who is smart, upbeat and popular. And then we've also got Alexandra, and the description of that was definitely like, okay, yeah, that's me. Spunky, punky and sarcastic, Alex is all about making it from day to day. Life's tough, but Alex deals. I was like, yeah, pretty much. I try anyway. But yeah, that looks like a ton of fun, so I was really happy to find it. And that brings us to the end of this book haul. If you're still here, thank you for sticking around. Yeah, that was quite a lot of books, but I'm very excited about all of them. And yeah, some of them I was so excited about, I've already read them. So that's always a good sign. And the rest of them, yeah, I will hopefully get to before too long. But it is library book sale season coming up. Like, that's usually March, April time around here. So I think it's a given that I will be back with another book haul before too long. So yeah, you know how it goes. But that is it for now. So yeah, if you read any of these, please let me know your thoughts. No spoilers, of course. And if there's any of these books that you think look exciting and that I should pick up sooner rather than later, then feel free to let me know and I will try to do so. But yeah, thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you again in my next video. Bye.